Beautiful, beautiful people. Welcome to another live stream. I know we didn't stream yesterday. We did a YouTube short yesterday. We've been doing more of those, so I would really appreciate it if you guys continue to, like those if you enjoy them, interact with them. It lets me know to do more of them. So we didn't do a stream yesterday, but we are here again today. It is about 10 p.m., so a little bit of a late one. I'm going to toss out some notifications really quickly to the Discord chat and all that good stuff. Here we go. Toss that out. And we'll see who gets first in chat tonight. Kay's going to get first in chat tonight. What's up, Kay? Hope you're doing well. Welcome, welcome. Tonight, guys, we're going to be talking about your brain will have no choice. It will have no choice. We are going to elaborate on that in just a bit. Ghost, what's up, Ghost? You've been able to join more of the streams here recently due to us being so late. I hope you're enjoying them. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Let's make sure I have the chat box rather set up close to first. Almost, dude. Almost. It is what it is. Second. Not bad. Not bad. How was your day? My day's been pretty good. What's up, Bo? Welcome, dude. I'm so surprised I remember your name still, or how to pronounce your name, rather. Wonderbro in the house. What's up, Slow Jam? Everyone go watch his video game videos. You won't regret it. Appreciate it, dude. Hey, I've been doing some more gaming on this channel too. We got the gaming playlist back, so we've been doing some gaming live streams. I think we've done 2 so far. They've been a lot of fun. My beard's like all over the place. I got Nova beside me, like pushing me, so if you see me bounce a little bit, that is why. Ray, what's up, Ray? So before we get started on the point of tonight's stream, a few things I want to talk about. Number one was the YouTube Shorts. I have been trying to do more of the YouTube Shorts because I feel like it's a good way to get new people to the channel, right? So a lot of people are kind of scared by sitting through an hour-long stream. So I've been trying to do more of the YouTube Shorts here recently to try to grow the channel a little bit and get some new people here. So if you do enjoy the YouTube Shorts, make sure you interact with them. Toss them a quick like. If you ever get bored, right? If you're ever sitting around, you're like, you know what? I don't know what to do right now with my time. You could always just go on a like/commenting spree on my videos. It helps the channel grow. Second thing that I want to talk about. Well, hold the phone. Chase coming in with the $20 tip already. We've not even been streaming for 3 minutes. Chase, thank you so much, dude. I appreciate you for the $20 tip. We'll go ahead and add that up. We're on a 152-day streak. Thank you so much, Chase. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. Show him some love in the chat. I appreciate you. Thank you. Next thing that I want to address before we get into the point of tonight's stream, your brain will have no choice. The roof goal, which is now behind me. I've been trying to figure out a way to organize, so it looks halfway decent and there's not too much going on the screen. But we're at 2,274 of the roof goal. Thank you guys so much. If you'd like to contribute to that, just let me know. I will add it to that. I'm so grateful. Words can't even describe. Like, I think this goal is possible. You guys have kind of opened my eyes a little bit. Like, I really think this is doable. And, well, of course, without you guys, it wouldn't be. So just thank you so much for that. I love you so much. Roof goal is right there, and we've got a hell of a start. So just thank you guys. It's really, you have no idea how much pressure that's taking off my shoulders, knowing that, hey, we might actually make this goal. So if you'd like to contribute to that, just let me know. Thank you so much for that. Let's go ahead and move on because chat is filling up. Everybody's waiting for the stream, so let's go ahead and knock it out. Your brain will have no choice. What is up, Nick? Welcome, dude. Welcome to the stream. Your brain will have no choice. A very big problem with a lot of people when they first start trying acceptance, right? I'm not going to fight with my thoughts and feelings, just going to live my life, accepting statements instead, not going to add the worry, just going to let this burn, right? A huge problem that a lot of people tend to run into when they decide to dedicate to acceptance is that they have this underlying false belief that, okay, well, if I do this, who's to say this is going to work in time, right? Like, I don't know if I want to dedicate fully to this because I'm just not sure if this is going to work, or I'm just not sure if this is going to work out for me, right? Maybe it works for other people, but what about me, right? Everybody on this journey at one point or another, show of hands, has been down the I'm a special case road, the I'm a special case path. That route is not a good route to take. So tonight's stream is just really to open your eyes and say, hey, if you're dedicated to this thing, if you're no longer going to fight with those thoughts and feelings, you're just going to use your accepting inner voice, as Claire Weeks called it, and you're living your life. I want you to understand something. All of these underlying false beliefs about, well, what if I'm a special case, or, yeah, this works for him, but what about me, or I just want you to understand one thing. Your brain will literally, quite literally, have no choice. If you're not fighting with a very sticky, intrusive thought, I don't care if that thought has you in panic. I don't care if that situation has you in panic, right? Whatever that trigger is, I don't care if your current trigger has you in a state of full-blown panic. If you are dedicating in that moment to not adding to it with the worry, you're just reminding yourself of accepting statements, going back to living, you're rinsing and repeating that. I don't care how intense that anxiety moment is for you, even if it's panic. Your brain will literally have no choice. It's out of its hands. It will have no choice but to sooner or later, probably not as quickly as you would like, right? But sooner or later, it will have no choice but to say, okay, this is not a real danger. That's just how the system works. If you're not fighting with that trigger, adding the mental worry, the fuel to the fire, and you are living your life, no matter how on edge you feel, no matter how much inner panic is there, your brain has no choice but to set that alarm lower in time, right? So a lot of people running around with these false beliefs that they're a special case and that this is not going to work for me and it works for other people, but I'm just not one of those people, or, it works for this guy, but it's not going to work for me. Understand that with how the amygdala operates, right? If you let that fire burn, and I don't care how intense that fire is, if you let that fire burn and you are not fighting with it mentally, with what Dr. Claire Weeks called second fear, worry, and you are living your life, I don't care what the trigger is. I don't care how sticky the thought is. I don't care how much panic you're feeling at the moment. I don't care what's going on, right? Your brain will quite literally have no choice but to set that alarm lower in time. So we've had people go from having these really intense fears about things that they're never going to get answers to, right? I never know, we've had people that have been absolutely terrified of the thought of something happening to them physically, right? We call that health anxiety. We've had people that are absolutely terrified at the thought of some sort of mental death, like going crazy or insane. I was one of those people. Ring the bell. We've had people with these fears that they're never going to get complete reassurance for. See, that's the big thing. A lot of people think, unless I can get complete reassurance for this thing, I'm not going to be able to overcome it. But we've had people with fears that absolutely terrify them and send them into to just a deep pit of fear that they're never going to be able to get 100% reassurance for, because I can never reassure somebody 100% that they're not going to have a heart attack. I can tell you that anxiety is not going to cause you to have a heart attack, but that's not going to give you 100% reassurance, right? You might not fully ever believe that. It's true, but you might not fully ever believe that. I can tell someone that's afraid of going crazy or insane over their feelings or being overwhelmed by their feelings that you're not going to go crazy and insane, but that's not going to be enough. That's not 100% reassurance. There is no such thing as 100% reassurance, right? But here's the thing. We've had so many people, myself included, that never got that 100% reassurance because it doesn't exist. It does not exist. And they used the advice and dedicated to it, and their brain was literally left with no choice but to set the alarm lower. That is how the amygdala operates. That is how the limbic system operates. If you are dedicated to the advice, it doesn't matter if you have 100% reassurance, right? It doesn't matter if you can put these things to rest 100%, because you can't. You will never be 100% reassured that this won't happen or that won't happen or this won't happen or that won't happen. You are chasing that. A lot of people are chasing that 100% reassurance, and they're staying in the cycle of second fear, aka worry, because of it. But they're never going to reach it. You are never going to reach the point where you are 100% reassured that this thing's not going to hurt you, right? You're never going to reach the point where you're 100% reassured that that fear might not happen or it won't happen. You're never going to reach the point where you are 100% satisfied with your reassurance. So that's got to go. But what I can tell you is this. You don't have to reach the point where you get 100% reassurance with anything. because it's not the reassurance that you need to get the relief, right? What you need to do is put in the work. If you put in the work, the brain is left with literally no choice but to set the alarm lower. If the brain sees you living your life and you're not adding a ton of fight and worry to that thought or that situation or that trigger, the way the limbic system is set up is that it has no choice but to chalk that up as not a danger and set the alarm lower. Has no choice. So you're chasing the wrong thing, right? You're chasing the wrong thing. You're chasing the 100% reassurance. I want to be 100% reassured that that thing's not going to happen, and that's not going to happen. I want to be 100% reassured, and then I'll dedicate to the advice. Do you know how many times I've heard that? I want to be sure that this is this. I want to be sure that this is this, and I want to be sure that that won't happen, and that won't happen, and make sure this doesn't happen, and then I'll 100% dedicate to the advice. You're chasing the wrong thing. You're going about it the wrong way. You only need to truly understand one thing, and the one thing you need to truly understand is the point of tonight's stream, that you don't need the 100% reassurance to make progress. What you need is to just understand how the limbic system works, and the limbic system and the amygdala works in this way. If you're not fighting with something that is a trigger for you right now, no matter how intense that trigger is, if you're not fighting with it, aka adding the worry to it, you're just using that accepting inner voice and living your life. If that's the way you're going at it, understand that the limbic system, the amygdala, the brain has no choice but to say that must not be a danger. What separates you from all the other people walking around that don't have the same triggers you do? They're not fighting with it. So their amygdala has made the decision it must not be a danger. The reason you're sitting there right now all frustrated and anxious and maybe in a panic over this thought of going crazy or over this thought of having a heart attack or over this thought of this situation, or hundreds of triggers, thousands of triggers exist, right? But what separates you, think about this for a second, what separates you sitting there right now so triggered over the thought of whatever and the person in the next room who's not even considering that, who's just off doing whatever and doesn't care? What separates you from the rest of the world that doesn't care and even laughs at your triggers? They have taught their amygdala, their limbic system, that that is not a danger. That's the only difference. So you don't need the 100% reassurance, right, in order to make progress. You just need to think a little bit. What separates me from the rest of the people in the world that don't care about this? I'm so triggered over this, but Bob and Jack and Bill, they could give a shit less about this. Who's going wrong here? What's the difference here? The only difference is that's the way their amygdala is programmed. That's all you need to understand, that there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You don't need 100% reassurance. You can be just like the other people that you're envious of. If you just understand that your brain quite literally has no choice but to set the alarm lower, no matter the trigger. That's the big point tonight. No matter the trigger, you can be like the other people out there, all the hundreds, thousands, millions of people out there that don't care about that. You can be just like them if you realize that you don't need to prove the trigger wrong by fighting with it mentally or by trying to get the reassurance. You just need to understand that they've trained their amygdala to be a certain way, and you can do yours the same. Right? So next time you get up in your head and you're fighting with a trigger, I got to problem solve it and figure it out, and then I'll move on. Then I'll use acceptance. Remind yourself, well, nobody else is doing that. They've just got their brain trained a certain way. So maybe I can drop the whole worry, problem solving, trying to figure out the trigger and argue with it thing, and I can just go straight to the acceptance, just like everybody else, right? Who never had those triggers to begin with. So, a lot of people get stuck on trying to problem solve the thoughts, and then they tell themselves, well, once I problem solve it all, then I'll dedicate. That needs to be cut out, because you'll be doing that for the rest of your life if that's the way that you're going at it. That needs to be cut out, because you'll never get that 100% reassurance. You'll never get it all figured out. You just need to understand that you're not broken. Everybody else that's living their life and doesn't have these problems, that's just because they have a different, their amygdala is trained in a different way, and you can do that too. That's the main point tonight. You can do that too. So you can cut out all the fighting, the arguing, and the problem solving and blah, blah, blah. You can just cut that out of the equation, because you're going to be doing that for a very, very long time. If you want 100% reassurance that this thing will eventually stop bothering you, you're never going to get that 100% reassurance, and you're always going to be worried. Therefore, ironically, self-fulfilling prophecy, you're always going to have the problem. Take a look around. There's nothing that separates you from everybody else except the way that you've trained your brain. Get rid of the problem solving and just understand that. Get rid of the problem solving and just understand that, and then start to dedicate to the accepting inner voice no matter what you feel, and just understand that my brain literally has no choice but to eventually make the right connections, just like everybody else's brain, right? If I do this, so I'm just going to do it. I'm going to cut out the reassurance, trying to get the 100% reassurance. I'm going to cut out the trying to solve it all first, right? And then I'll accept, that BS. I'm going to cut all that out and just realize that nobody else in my life has this trigger. So I don't need to problem solve it. I just need to get like them. What are they doing? They're just not worrying. They're just not worrying. They're not fighting with this shit. They haven't, done all that. That's the only difference. You don't need the 100% reassurance. You'll never get that. You'll never get that. You'll be chasing that forever. That's the reason you're in the boat you're in to begin with. You don't need to do the worry. That's the reason you're in the boat to begin with. You don't need to figure anything out or put the pieces all together and then start dedicating. No, just go ahead and start dedicating now, just like everybody else. They don't even realize they're doing it, right? But just like everybody else who doesn't have these triggers, you don't need to do anything special before you get started. No, just get started now, right? And everything else will fall into place. The main point of tonight's stream is that your brain will literally have no choice. It'll literally have no choice. You can throw away the problem solving, the fighting, the arguing, trying to get 100% reassurance. You can throw away all that and just realize that your brain will quite literally have no choice but to set the alarm lower, just like everybody else that you see around you that you envy, right? Your brain will fall in line just like theirs does, right? Just like theirs is operating. If you'll just stop trying to figure it all out and dedicate to the advice, right? There's nothing special that you need to do before you get started. That is the biggest lie that keeps people stuck. Nobody else is trying. I keep coming back to that point because it's my biggest piece of proof here. Nobody else is trying to problem solve things in order to, feel better. They're just going with the flow. Right? You ended up in this boat because of your problem-solving tendencies, because of your worry tendencies, and that's the only difference that separates you and from everybody else that you look around and are so jealous of. That's it. So there's nothing special you need to do, and there's nothing special you can do before you get started. Just get started, and your brain will quite literally have no choice but to set those alarms lower. I don't care how intense it is. If you're not mentally fighting with it and adding the worry, and you're just coming back to that accepting inner voice, it might not feel great right away. In fact, it might feel really tough sometimes. But in time, it will quite literally have no choice but to set the alarm lower, just like everybody else that you see around you, right? So don't fall into the trap of thinking there's something unique that you need to do before you get started, because that is the biggest lie that keeps so many people stuck, okay? So I hope this opens some eyes tonight. I hope you get out of the problem-solving stage and realize that is your problem. I hope you get out of the worry stage and understand that is your problem. You start to really dedicate to that accepting inner voice. Live your life. You'll just be like everyone else around you that you're so envious of that doesn't deal with the sensitization, right? You'll be just like them if you just realize what I've said tonight, internalize it, really chew on it for a second, and live your life, right? With that accepting inner voice. Let's work on that worry habit. You will get there. That was the point of tonight's stream. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Let's get some likes going. Appreciate you, Jesse. We're going to get some music going, and then we're going to hang out with chat for a bit, as we always do. We've been getting some new faces around here, so let me just explain something very, very quickly. If you are new here, we always do the main point of the stream. The streams are like an hour long, right? So that throws some people off. But understand that the main point of the stream is talked about, and it's covered within like maybe 20 minutes. So if you're new here, don't let the length of the stream scare you or throw you off. You can always skip the intro, catch the point of the stream, and you can bounce if you'd like. But I would appreciate it if you hang out, get to know everybody. So just wanted to explain that for anybody who's new here. We also take questions during this point of the stream after the main point is over. So I'll show you. It's probably going to be a little loud. Where's it at? There we go. Okay. Let me adjust. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So after we do the main point of the stream, we always switch on over to post-stream, and it's all messed up because we did a gaming stream the other night. It's all screwed up. I need to do 2 different scenes here. That's what I need to do. But anyway, if you see the post stream, which looks a lot like this, kinda. It's a little messed up. Looks a lot like this. Then understand that we are at post stream and you can ask your questions and just hang out with chat, and it's a really good time. So we're gonna adjust this a little bit, a little screwed up there we go. That's good enough for now. How you doing, Slow Jam? Let's see who else we got in here tonight. Wow, the music's really loud on this screen. We got Jesse in the house. Jesse. You will learn the mind can make crazy movies. Look at all the horror stories that are made up. Exactly, dude. What is up, Ace? Hope you're doing good, man. Mike, you're the best, bro. For real. You're the best. I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's see. I want to make sure I got the... Yeah, we got it. We'll move that down just a little bit. Where's our owl? I just realized. There he is. Okay. I'll try to remember to just do a whole new scene for the gaming stream so we don't have to adjust everything each time like that. But yeah, I have been seeing like an increase in interaction with the channel between the likes and comments, so I appreciate it. Rick, let's move the alert box up. There we go. Rick, thank you so much, dude. Thank you so much. Rick says 26 for the roof. I appreciate you, man. All right, let's do the math on that. Let's whip out the calculator here. So what I'm gonna do is head on over here, transfer out Chase's tip, and then we'll see what our total is, and we'll add that to the roof goal. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate you. I want your opinion on something. It's quite long, though. Well, feel free to start typing. And thank you so much again, Rick, for the roof goal tip there. I appreciate you, dude. And I am going to add that as soon as I see what our total is. Alright, so after I transfer out Chase's tip earlier, our roof goal goes from 2,269 to 2,298 after PayPal fees and all that shit. That is what I'm currently looking at on my phone here. 2,298 on the roof goal. We are almost at 2,300 on the roof goal. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. I realize I have a lot of emotional trauma I will let go. I've had a hair trigger on my emotional response for far too long. Time to process and let go. I love it, dude. Acceptance. Feel it to heal it. Feel it to heal it. A motto that we love to use around here. Okay, long story. In high school, I made a friend. Let's call him Freddie for anonymous reasons. We were good friends in high school, but then in college, he suddenly stopped responding to my text calls and comments. I had no idea why. Many years passed, and for shits and giggles, I go on his. We'll see what the rest of that story has to say. We'll give him time to type that out, and then we'll revisit that. All right, 1 second, guys. 2 seconds. All right. Thank you so much again, Rick and Chase, for your tips, dude. I appreciate it. Helps keep the show on the road. YouTube channel and see his latest videos. Sees he's lonely and depressed. He desperately needs more friends. Thinks that 80% of his friends are fake and tossed them out of his life over the years. Felt both good and bad. Good because I found it ironic that he is lonely after ghosting everyone. Bad because I don't want him to feel this way. I want to help. I want to help him. But now I hate his guts for how he treated me. A part of me wants to help a lonely soul, but I also want nothing to do with him. So what do I do? Interesting question. So what you'll see there what you'll see there, what you'll notice from your own comment there, is that one half of that comes from what we call the ego, and the other half of that comes from your heart. So the part that comes from your heart is the part that you want to reach out and help somebody, and the part that comes from your ego is the part that says, I should hate this person because they ghosted me. Now, of course, there's something to be said about distancing yourself from bad energy, bad people, right? And that's okay. But when it comes to the point of pure hatred for smaller reasons, right, we can say that comes from the ego. So one part of that comes from the ego, one part of that comes from the heart. Which one do you want to follow? I'm not saying you have to reach out to him, but I am saying that you could come to a point where you say maybe a little bit of the ego is right there, and maybe a little bit of the heart is right there, and I can find a balance in between the two. I can let go of the hate that I feel and not reach out to protect my own inner peace, and that's fine, right? So there's a little bit of a balance there. You can let the hate go, right, which is only going to help you feel better, and you can stop telling yourself things like, screw this guy for what he did to me, and you can stop with the mental storytelling and release that, but you still don't have to reach out. You can protect your own inner peace, so you can find a little bit of a balance there. There's always a peaceful balance in there somewhere. Having issues with noticing thought and letting it go to go back to living and accepting even a simple thought. Well, sometimes they can be sticky, right? Sometimes they can be sticky. It doesn't mean that you're trying to dispel it completely. It's allowed to be sticky as long as your response is with the accepting inner voice, right? It's totally allowed to be sticky, and some of them are very sticky, and that's okay. As long as your response is not extra worry, as long as your response is always catching any sort of worry over these thoughts or symptoms or whatever, turning it into the accepting inner voice and living. It's okay if they come back. They probably will come back. And it's okay if they stick around for a bit. That's fine, as long as, right? As long as your response is always that accepting inner voice and not extra fuel to the fire, then you're fine. But eventually it'll unstick itself, right? And it'll probably go up and down a little bit. Sometimes really intense, sometimes not as intense. It probably will go up and down. That's okay. The intensity will go up and down. The stickiness of it will go up and down. That's all out of your control. What's in your control, of course, is what we talk about here. The accepting inner voice in response to it, right? In response to it. So yeah, that's kind of a common misconception. People are like, well, it won't stop, so I'm doing something wrong. It's not about trying to stomp it out and dispel it. It's about trying to dispel the worry, not so much the intrusive sticky thought. It might be sticky, but we're trying to catch you adding any worry to it. If you're adding worry to it, catch that and turn that into the accepting inner voice while you allow the thoughts and feelings to do as they please, right? And as long as you're responding majority of the time with the accepting inner voice, even if it doesn't feel like it's working in the moment, it will. And these thoughts will unstick themselves, and the feelings will come and go, probably in waves, and they'll eventually die down too. You just got to keep coming back to that accepting inner voice, even if you don't feel like it. Even if it doesn't feel like it's working, you just ride those waves and you keep coming back to that accepting inner voice, and your life, of course. Of course, your life. Your life, of course. Maybe hate his guts is a poor response. I just don't know if I want to be friends with him anymore regardless of my anger. And that's fine, right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with deciding that somebody is bad for you in one way or another, whether it's relationship, friendship, whatever. It is totally okay to come to the conclusion that somebody is just bad for you and to not have anything to do with them. That's fine. That's fine. Protecting your inner peace is fine, and it's a lesson that most people need to learn. Sometimes I need to learn that lesson myself too, but that's totally okay to say that I don't want to have anything to do with this person because they're bad for me. That's fine. I was just referring specifically to the hatred. You could start to let that go. That'll make you feel better. But keeping your distance from someone is not a bad thing necessarily. In fact, it can be a needed thing at times. Successfully navigated the lunchroom, even had a conversation with someone. Yay me, love it, Sky, kicking ass, dude. It's part of you, but you can learn to react better to where it's not a big deal and a life changer happens. Love it, Jesse. Simple, straight to the point. Simple, straight to the point. But I do want to help somehow, damn. It sounds like you're being presented with a very personal decision to make, but I will tell you this, I don't see you going wrong either way. If you want to protect your own inner peace, I don't see that being wrong. If you want to maybe reach out, but it depends. Are you doing that out of guilt because you feel like you have to? If so, then it's just a selfish endeavor. And that's very, very ironic. A lot of people, I'm not saying this is you, but a lot of people, they say, well, I need to reach out and I need to do this so that I can feel better. They don't say that, but that's really what it comes down to. Are you really being nice because you care that much? Or are you being nice because your nerves are tired and you just want to feel better yourself and you feel guilty and you just want to get rid of the guilt? Which one is it? Do you want to just genuinely do that because you feel nice even if you think it's the wrong choice? Or are you wanting to do it so that you yourself can feel better? So is it really just a selfish endeavor? Are you really wanting to help them? Or is it just a selfish thing at the end of the day? Figure that one out. And if it is just a selfish thing at the end of the day, realize that you don't have to reach out. You don't have to do it just so you yourself can feel better. You can deal with those feelings, and those feelings can come and they can go. A lot of people make rash decisions to let people back into their lives that they probably shouldn't, because they themselves want to feel better, because they feel some sort of weird guilt that they shouldn't feel, really, right? Or not that they shouldn't feel it, but they should address it and accept it and let it go. So yeah, just figure that out. Figure that out. And if it does come down, you said so it's a selfish, so really it is a selfish reason. If it does come down that you're wanting to let somebody back in your life just because you yourself want to feel better for doing it, then it's probably not worth it. But if you genuinely want to let this person back in your life because you care that much, well, that's a decision for you to make. That's a decision for you to make. I feel like that's what my idol, Mr. Rogers, would do. Well, off camera, Mr. Rogers was probably not allowing shitty people back into his life, to be completely honest with you. At this point, my anxiety only comes on during stressful situations, being overwhelmed. How to push through this? I mean, I can't avoid stress this day and age. Nobody can, right? And that's why I say this advice is good life advice. So, bummer, but I'm just going to tell you the same advice as always, right? We can't always avoid stressful life situations because that's just very much a part of being alive. We can't always avoid stressful life situations, but, you know, like I say, good life advice is not just good anxiety advice. So you can greet stressful life situations without adding as much worry, with more of the accepting inner voice, right? Living, taking it one day at a time. The same advice that we preach for anxiety, we preach for life, right? We preach for life too, because you're right. You can't avoid stress. Nobody can. Nobody in this chat can. That's just part of being alive. But good life advice and not just good anxiety advice. Very much applies to your real life too. Mr. Rogers is not a character. He was genuinely a good person. Never thought of it like that, Wonder Bro. Yeah, I mean, Bob Ross was genuinely a good person too, but off camera, nobody is perfect. And off camera, they probably didn't let themselves be welcome mats for everybody to wipe their feet on, right? There's a lot of self-care that goes into being a genuinely good person. being a genuinely good person does not always mean making yourself available to everyone and being treated to allow yourself to be treated like a welcome mat. That does not make you a genuinely good person. That makes you genuinely a pushover who needs to practice self-care, right? Oh shit, that caught me a little bit. That one caught me a little bit. I was looking at the other screen there. Ray, Ray, thank you so much for the $20 tip that puts us 10 away from our 152 day streak. Absolutely insane. Thank you so much, Ray. Tip note says, thank you, Wonder Bro, for all you do. Still fighting the good fight. Love you, man. Thank you so much for the $20 tip. You have no idea how much that means to me and helps me out. Appreciate it. Thank you for helping keep this show on the road. Let's give Ray a big round of applause in the chat. We are 10 away from moving on to a 153-day streak, and Roof Goal is sitting at 2,298. You guys are absolutely killing it, dude. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. What would I do without you guys? I don't know. But yes, thank you guys so much for just coming out full force and helping me in a time of need. I really appreciate it. And all I can hope is that I can continue to give you guys good streams, good content, good knowledge, good advice, have an even trade here, right? And that's what I'm going to continue to try my best to do. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. 10 away from 153-day streak, and Roof Goal is $2 away from 2,300. Thank you guys so much. We just announced that goal, like a week ago, and we're already at that amount. Wow, you guys are truly the best. Thank you. I will not get emotional tonight, I promise. Wonder Bro, what would you do if you were in my shoes? If I were in your shoes, it's hard to answer questions like that because I'm coming at it with probably a totally different mindset than you are, right? Me personally, I had a friend who not mentioning names, but I had a friend that I was very close to during my school years who kind of vanished for whatever reason. Didn't really leave much of a reason. I was very close to said person. So what I did is I pushed for a little bit and tried to get a reason. I was never given a reason, so eventually I just moved on with my life. If I was to see that they were in need of a friend all these years later, and let's say, like in your situation, that you said this person had bad energy, I would take that into consideration, right? Like, okay, well, he always had bad energy. Not necessarily my friend, he didn't have bad energy, but if he did, in your shoes, I would probably stay away. I'd probably stay away. I'm not very cool with letting people in that just affect me in a negative way. I don't think there's anything fun about that, and I don't think I would do that just to be a quote-unquote good person. And anxiety, why emotions overpower our intelligency. So anxiety's fight or flight response, right? Its entire goal is to get you moving. Its entire goal is to get you fighting and worrying. And if you do that, then it wins, right? And the reason it's so intense is because it thinks there's a danger and it wants to save your life. There is no danger and there's no need for it. So that's all you need to remember while you practice not adding the worry, right? So the feelings can seem like they overpower your intelligence, but if you keep coming back to the facts, you'll be okay. If you keep coming back to the facts that this is a false alarm, right? If you keep coming back to the fact that this is a false alarm and there's nothing I need to do about it, then that's the kind of attitude that we're trying to get into, right? That's the kind of attitude that we're trying to tap into. So it might feel like it overpowers your intelligence, but just keep coming back to that simple fact. This is a false alarm. There's no need to fight or worry or anything that I need to add to it. Lately, anxiety will go from very light to moderate and then go to no anxiety within 2 hours. Did you feel like this? Ups and downs, definitely. Some days don't feel good with no anxiety, doing what you say and not react to it. Yeah, ups and downs are very much a normal part of the experience. Sometimes the amygdala can decide to fire off for multiple factors for whatever reason, day or night. And then sometimes it's not, especially if you're applying the advice, right? It's a good sign that you're having more ups and downs rather than just steady anxiety all the time. So ups and downs are normally a good sign, and it is a good sign. But it doesn't mean that you treat it any differently, right? The advice doesn't change just because you're experiencing ups and downs, whether the anxiety is more of a constant or whether anxiety comes in ups and downs. The advice never changes, and that's the good news, because it doesn't have to be confusing that way, right? And you said doing what you say and not react to it, so there you go. You're on the right track. I think it has less to do with intelligence and more to do with just respecting yourself, right? Having respect for yourself, respect enough to not let people run all over you, or respect enough to not let people back in your life that you know are going to negatively impact you. That's just self-respect, really. I think it's more just self-respect than intelligence or anything like that. The thing is, for a lot of anxious people, self-respect is not very high on their ladder, right? It's because they've been scared for so long, and because they've been anxious for so long, that they're willing to allow people to take full advantage if that means having peace, right? But unfortunately, that's going to lead to more long-term drama than it is anything. So I feel like a lot of people that are anxious for long periods of time tend to let people maybe take advantage of them, or run over top of them a little bit, and I feel like they do that just because they're scared and they don't want to deal with it. But practice that acceptance, right? Practice that acceptance and realizing that you don't have to let people run all over you, right? And you shouldn't. It's just going to make things worse in the long run. I mean, I can't speak for all of you, but I know for me personally, like when I was at my worst, I did let people tend to run all over me and take advantage of me, just because I wanted to avoid any sort of potential conflict from not allowing them to do that. So, but it's never good in the end. Never good in the end. Just like fighting with your thoughts and feelings is never good in the end. Allowing people to run all over you is also not good in the end. You do these things for temporary relief, but in the end it just makes it so much worse. It's really just an avoidance, right? You could even say that allowing people to run all over you is just an avoidance skill that you've developed in order to try to get away from conflict and drama, because you're scared of the way that it makes you feel. So you could really say that that's just another avoidance skill that you've developed over the years or weeks or months, however long it's been. Thanks, what, bro? Absolutely, Joyce. Hope that helps. Getting tongue-tied. Shout out to Kate. Why are you shouting at me? Said quietly. Thank you so much, Wonder Bro. Absolutely, dude. Hope that helps. Just got an electric skateboard. Coolest thing I've ever bought. Whips around everywhere. The cars that drive past me are going the same speed. Everyone should get one. Interesting. Electric skateboard. I'll have to look up some videos later. See that in action. I'll probably forget, but... There's a few people who should probably not have an electric skateboard in their life, and I am probably one of those people. Like, I can't even do a regular skateboard, so probably shouldn't put a motor on it. Roll with it, Sky. Roll with it. That's your best choice. That is your best choice. You are right. We're all a bit funky. Couldn't have said it better myself. Embrace your funky. Embrace your funky. Soccer Mom. Soccer Mom. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. That takes tip goal to 60, and we're moving on to 153. Oops. 153 day streak. Thank you so much, Soccer Mom. I'm going to read your tip note. If I could ever type this in correctly. I'm having brain spasms. Here we go. We're on to a 153 day streak. Thank you so much, Soccer Mom. Thank you so much, Ray. Thank you so much, Chase. You guys got us to the tip goal today, 153 day streak. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Rick, for adding to the roof goal. We are at 2,298. So what I thought about doing is, will this work like, yeah. So what I thought about doing is, we've hit our tip goal. We are moving on to a 153 day streak, so we'll just make that invisible. Thank you guys so much for that. And for the remainder of the stream, we will focus entirely on the roof goal. I think that's the best way to do it. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to do it. But thank you so much for that. I appreciate all of you. Shout out to each and every one of you. Tip goal, or tip note rather, said, Wonder Bro, still recovering from COVID. There's a lot of anxiety and worry going on about how my recovery is going. Worried about long COVID, maybe relapsing. Anxiety is very opportunistic. 10 for the tip goal, 10 for the roof. I should have read that first before I made all of those adjustments. Okay, we will adjust that in just a minute. Thank you so much, Soccer Mom, for the tip. And let me see if I can address some of your concerns here. So, a lot of worry going on about an illness that you actually have. Something that a lot of people get caught up on is that my worry is about something that's legitimate, therefore it is justified. However, remember that it's not. It's just simply not, right? So you've done all that you can for the fact that you have COVID, right? I'm sure you went to the doctor and maybe you're on meds or you're resting or you're doing whatever you can, right? I'm sure you've done all that stuff. So that stuff's obvious. You've took the action part of the equation. That's been taken. There's nothing more for you to do. The worry past the action stage is completely pointless and futile and very stressful for the nerves. So people do get caught up on that. They tend to get caught up on that. This is about a real thing, so it's justified. It's never justified, right? Because you've took all the action that is available to you. No other action is available to you. So the worry still becomes futile, pointless, and very stressful to the nerves. So don't let your mind trick you into thinking, yeah, this is totally justified because I do have COVID. No, it's not justified. In fact, it's making everything just that much worse, right? Making everything just that much worse. And while we're talking about real life stressors, there's a quote that I absolutely love, and you know what? In fact, I'm going to pull up the exact quote because I don't want to just paraphrase here because this is an amazing quote. So we're going to pull it up real quick. It's by one of my favorite philosophers, Alan Watts. Let me see if I can find the exact quote. Okay, I think I've got it here. So the quote goes like this. When we decide, we're always worrying. Did I think this over long enough? Did I take enough data into consideration? And if you think it through, you will find that you never could take enough data into consideration. The data for a decision in any given situation is infinite. So what you do is you go through the motions of thinking, aka worrying, what you'll do about this and what you'll do about that, and then when the time comes to act, you make a snap judgment. So what he was saying there is that we do all this worry, and then we justify it because, oh, this is a real thing, and we worry, and then when the time comes to act, you don't even take into consideration all the days, weeks, and months, and maybe years of worry that you did. When the time comes to act, you just make a snap decision. You don't even take into consideration all the nights of sleep that you lost with the worry that you were doing. It doesn't even come into play when it's time to act. You just make the best decision that you can in the moment, right? In that lecture, he goes on to say, now I'm having a little bit of fun with it because there are situations where maybe we think things through and we come to a pretty solid solution. But he then comes back to say, but 99% of the time you do all this worry, about a real situation or whatever it is, and you don't even take the worry into consideration when it's time to make a decision. How many times have you made a decision and you've sat down and said, let me take into consideration all those months of worry I did, right? Probably not often, right? There might be a special case out there, but probably not often. Most of us, when we're faced with a decision to make, we just make the best decision that we possibly can think of in the moment, and we go with it. We don't sit down and break out the clipboard and say, well, let me take into consideration all those months of worry I did prior. We don't do that. We just make the best decision that we can make in the moment. So all that worry was pointless and worthless anyway, right? So thank you for the tip, and thank you for the tip note, because that's one of my favorite quotes actually, and I'm glad I was given the opportunity to read it. Raven, how you doing, Raven? Hello. Good to have you here. We hit our tip goal. We moved on to a 153-day streak. That still blows my mind to this day. And yeah, we're just chilling, answering questions, talking to chat. Roof goal is available for anyone who would like to contribute to that. We're at 2,298. Started that goal about a week ago, and we're already at that number. That amount just insane. I say it all the time. Numbers. In terms of subscribers, we might not have millions, but we've still got one of the most supportive communities I've ever seen on YouTube. I've seen very big streamers with millions of subs try to hit long-term goals, and they just can't. And they've got millions of subs. We don't have millions, and we're already at 2,298 on our goals. So thank you guys so much for being such an awesome community. My hopes are high, and I really do think that we can continue on that goal. And it's taken a lot of pressure off me. I might be able to save my house, and that feels damn good. That feels damn good. So thank you guys so much for that. People still love me even though I give them side eye. There's a little bit of sass in you, right? That's okay. It's okay to have a little bit of sass in you. It's like it has like small ATV tires. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think that's made for me. I can't stand up on a regular skateboard. I could probably barely stand up on a scooter without falling over. I don't think my balance is good enough for a skateboard with a motor. Probably a bad idea. The streams would abruptly come to an end when I broke my neck on that. So I need a physical, but I'm terrified. I feel like it will confirm my worst fears. Any tips? So that kind of comes right back to the quote that we just read off about how the worry, there's an infinite amount of data, as he puts it, data, whatever you want to call it. I always call it data. There's an infinite amount of data that you can take into consideration when worrying about something that you don't even realize, so you'll never come to a firm conclusion, right? It's a pretty futile and pointless act. So you say you need a physical, but you're worried that it'll confirm your worst fears. Understand that the longer you consider all of the infinite possibilities, and they really are infinite, the more circles you'll run in, right? So we've really got two choices here, just like we do with anything in life. You can go get it and say, okay, whatever's going to come of this is going to come of this, and I'll deal with it come then. Or you can decide that you're not going to get it, and of course I can't recommend that. Right, that's a very personal choice. I can't tell you to not go get a physical, but I can tell you this: the infinite amount of worry that you can do before or after the physical are both pointless. So you can go get the physical and it might confirm something, might not, right? We might be having this conversation for no reason, but you can go get the physical and it might confirm something. Well, any amount of worry that you do after it confirms something is still pointless, and any amount of worry that you do before you go get the physical is still pointless. So either decision that you make, it's still pointless, right? All the worry that you're doing is still pointless. You can go get the physical, it confirms something, then you take the best action you can. The worry's still pointless. You can not go get the physical, and the worry about not getting the physical is still pointless. So either way you go, we've got a practice that needs to be done. Right now, I can't tell you to not go get a physical, but I can tell you that no matter what you decide, we've got a practice that we really need to focus on, and that's the worry habit. That's the worry habit, and you can practice that habit, or breaking that habit rather, whether you go get the physical or not. And you should practice that. Same case for anxiety. People say, well, this is my trigger, or this is my trigger. All irrelevant. Go get the physical, don't go get the physical. This is my trigger, this is my trigger. All of the context is irrelevant. The worry habit is still the root problem, and we need to work on it. It's going to bring you more relief than anything in this life. So always spot the worry, shut it down with some sort of accepting inner voice. May not burn away as quickly as you'd like, but it will. It will burn away in time. So so a lot of people get caught up on context, right? Like, here's the reason I can't work on the worry habit. Nope, there's never a reason why you can't work on the worry habit. Never a reason, never a good enough reason, right? So my advice to you is, since I can't make such a personal choice for you, my advice to you is, whichever choice you do make, understand that the practice is going to remain the same, right? And that's the good news. Such a great response. Appreciate that. Thank you, DIY. Love this channel. I don't know if I've seen you in here before, or maybe you just don't comment that often, but I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thank you. Oh crap, how long have I been muted? How long have I been muted? Damn it. Damn it. Son of a bitch. Why do I do that every time? I've been rambling this whole time. I don't know what the last thing you guys heard was. I was messing with transferring funds and stuff. The new roof goal is 2,306. I was saying thank you so much for that. We've officially broke 2,300 on the roof goal. Thank you. Why the fuck do I do that all the time? Frustrating. And I was also saying, DIY, I haven't seen you here very often, but I appreciate you being here. I'm glad you enjoyed the response. Thank you for the love. Pandemonium. Oh, God, I'm trying to think of everything I said. Pandemonium coming in with a $20 tip says, having my best days in months, starting to realize acceptance can happen despite ongoing stressful issues. Hope this continues into tomorrow. Your advice has been very helpful. Thank you so much, Pandemonium, for the $20 tip. Since we've already hit daily tip goal, I'm going to assume that goes to Roof Goal. So let's see what the new total is. That's going to be 2,300 and what does it say? 25. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You guys are amazing. I love you. I love you so much. Also, I was reading Raven's comment that said, would you say we just start accepting everything with or without anxiety, kind of without question, just to build the practice? My response to that was I always say good life advice and not just good anxiety advice. You can absolutely work on the very nasty habit of worry, whether we're talking about anxiety or not, and you should, because so many people talk about the nasty negative effects of drug addiction, alcohol addiction. Not many people talk about the devastating effects of worry, right? It can sensitize you, and it just overall is a damper to the quality of your life, and it very much is an addiction, and it should be worked on because it'll always be pointless, it'll always be futile, it'll always be a negative. So continue to work on that worry habit, spot it, replace it with the accepting inner voice, let those thoughts burn out, let those feelings burn out. But to answer your question, to sum it up, you absolutely should work on the worry habit, whether we're talking about anxiety or not talking about anxiety, whether we're talking about sensitization or not talking about sensitization. I'm going to work on that for the rest of my life because it makes my life so much better, right? Now, if you would have met me, before I started this channel, right, and I was just the biggest worrier you'd ever meet, and I was dealing with something like I'm dealing with now, like with the roof and trying to get that replaced, and I would just be all to hell tonight. There would definitely be no streams. I would just be all to hell about it. It would just be a horrible, horrible mess. But I've worked on the worry habit. I'm going to continue to work on the worry habit because the quality of life is worth it. And it gets easier. I'll say this. A lot of you are dealing with sensitization. Once you start to really heal those nerves, working on the worry habit gets 10 times easier. It becomes even fun, right? So I will say that. I'll throw that in there. It's not like it's going to be a struggle for the rest of your life. No, you'll make progress. You'll put dents in it, and it becomes very easy to do, and it's actually a fun process. So I'm just going to sneak that in there so nobody worries, ironically, about it. But yeah, it's good life advice. But again, thank you guys so much for 2,325 on the Roof Goal. It takes so much weight off my shoulders. I really think we're going to hit this goal, and I'm so thankful because I'm going to be able to save my roof and ultimately save my home. So that's pretty big. That's pretty fucking big. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. My main trigger right now is in my physical appearance. It's been hard to let go. I see myself in the mirror, get triggered, and want to solve the problem. But that's what's keeping me in this state, of course. Well, you're obviously very self-aware, right? And you realize what the problem is, so congrats on that. Pat yourself on the back for being self-aware. Now we can work on it. Now that you've admitted to it, we can work on it. And you got the door right open for you. So, you start to get triggered over this, and you want to solve that. We call that worry. Spot the worry, come back to that accepting inner voice. A little short, sweet statement will do. You might have to rinse and repeat that a lot, and that doesn't mean the intensity will die down right away. But if you just keep coming back to the accepting inner voice, thoughts and feelings, like the point of tonight's stream, like the title of tonight's stream says, will have no choice but to calm down, right? Maybe not as quickly as you'd prefer, but it will, because without your fuel, these thoughts and feelings cannot survive without your fuel. They cannot survive, right? You got to prove that to yourself. You got to prove that to yourself. What is up, Panda? How you doing? I was muted for a few minutes. I don't know why I do that. I gotta start being more aware myself when it comes to the damn mic. How's your weekend and everyone? My weekend's doing pretty good. Doing a lot of yard work. Wonder, bro, my tomatoes, I used to grow them and get maybe 2 or 3 a week. I've currently got 15 that will be ready to pull about the same time. These tips work. I love it. I love it. At the rate that everything's growing out there, I'm going to have to do more garden updates. I'm going to have to do like 1 a week, maybe 2 a week. Everything's just growing. It's beautiful. It's awesome. I'm not having much success with the onions, but several people have told me already that you probably won't. Onions are difficult, so I haven't given up on them completely, but I'm not seeing much going on with the onions. But everything else, especially the corn, seems to be doing really, really well. Agree. Thank you for the advice. Absolutely, Raven. Absolutely. I got you. Got you. My attitude is like a millennial. I'm like, whatever. That works, dude. That works. Hey, whatever stops the momentum of the worry at least a little bit, right? At least a little bit is good shit. Good shit. I'm replying to a comment at the moment on the Discord. Alright, sorry about that. Sorry about that. We're reading questions and comments on the stream. We're answering questions on the Discord. We're all over the place. This stream has been so helpful. Thank you. Absolutely beware. Absolutely, dude. I'm glad you enjoyed it. If you guys are enjoying the stream, make sure you leave a big thumbs up. Here recently, I've been trying to push channel interaction, and I hope that's not becoming annoying, but I'd like to see a step up in subscribers. There's so many people out there that could use this advice, and I cannot reach them. Or I simply cannot reach them unless the channel grows. And in order to get the channel to grow, I'm going to need you guys to help me with that. And you've been nothing but helpful, but that's why I keep pushing it, because I want to keep growing. I'm sure you guys want to keep growing. So make sure you leave the likes. If you're ever bored and you're like, hey, I got nothing to do, go comment on the videos, go like the videos, just keep the channel interaction up so that we can keep growing, so that we can reach the people out there who need this advice. There's so many more people that we could be reaching. So I've just been pushing channel interaction like crazy here recently, trying to grow. So, and I can't do that without you guys. So like the videos. If you're bored, go comment on some videos. I don't care if you just go spam them with emojis. Like let's just continue the channel interaction, and let's keep growing, adding people to this family, and ultimately the main goal, changing lives, dude. Changing lives. That's our goal. The way prices are going up on everything, having a garden is a good idea. I agree. And if my chicken keeps pecking my plants, I'll have my main course and sides all together. You can't go wrong. There you go. Can't go wrong with that. Poor chickens. I want some chickens for eggs, and I don't feel like I'd have the heart to... I feel like I'd get attached to my chickens. I'd get attached to my chickens. I guess if worse come to worse, then I'd have a chicken dinner, but I feel like I'd get very attached to my chickens. It's just how I am. What if I don't got friends? Dude, you got 10,000 friends right here. Right here. I'm like an onion. Many layers, a lot of tears, but Wonder Bro hasn't given up on the spunnion. Onion. I have not. Whatever those words mean, I have not given up on it, and I never will. I got you. You can always come check in with your friends over on the Discord. They give me lots of eggs, so all good. I want to get into raising chickens. I've been talking about that recently. We'll see what happens. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. Like, let's get through the first year of gardening, right, before we start adding chickens to the mix. But hey, the garden's going great for my first try. Like, I'm proud of myself. It's okay to be proud of yourself. I'm proud of myself. Get chickens now. Get chickens now. I need to put up a new fence. I was just talking about that today, actually. All right, beautiful people. We are at the hour 10 mark. So we're going to go ahead and wind it down here. We've been forgetting to play our song recently, and it's causing the streams to upload a little short at the end. Thank you, Maddie, for pointing that out to me. So why we've been forgetting to play our song, I don't really have an answer to that. A lot on my mind, I guess. But we're going to go get our song ready. Here we go. And that'll be coming up next. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for everything. I appreciate you. If you would like to contribute to the roof goal, we're at 2,325. It would mean so much to me. Everything is on the screen there. PayPal, Cash App. I love you guys. Thank you for another awesome, amazing stream. I'm going to continue to try to keep pumping them out. You know, and just do my best to give you guys the best possible knowledge and advice that I can. I love you guys. Thank you so much for everything. Again, let's try to get to that 11K mark. And I think that's it. So, till next time, as always, stay awesome. Oh, go check me out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I've been trying to grow that stuff too. So, anyway, I'll let you go now. I love you.
Whatever you want, I'll be whatever you want. Just tell me you love me or not, whatever it costs. I know I'm talking a lot, there's something I gotta get off. Don't wanna be this no more, I don't wanna drink no more. Always gotta do the most, thinking that I'm insecure. Really should've listened more, but I don't, of course. I'm an asshole, I'm a good guy, I'm your best friend, I'm the worst type. Tell you everything that you heard right, just so I can fuck on the first night. Feel like I'm losing hope, running from coast to coast. I don't know where to go, this all I've ever known. I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. No, did it die? Wait, did it die? Wait, did it die? I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Won't die. Did it die? Wait, did it die? Wait, did it die? My aunt think I'm perfect, I know I'm not. My mama be worried, I told her stop. They know I did drugs and think that I'm off. Little do they know I never could stop. My manager hate when I'm pulling up late. Back on my bullshit, she think it's a phase. I got relations I gotta maintain. I'm two different people, my side and my main. Yeah, I'm sober, I'm an addict, I'm a lowlife, I got habits, but I refuse to be average. Really so tired of acting, don't know what I miss no more. Too bad you don't hit me more. I'm bad when I get too bored. Careful what you wishing for. I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. No, did it die? Wait, did it die? Wait, did it die? I'm a stone cold